What I'd like to show you here is an application built on Anaplan that lets you monitor and hopefully optimize the performance of your sales team. Now, if you haven't seen an Anaplan model before, this is the table of contents down here, and each of these little boxes here represents a module. Now, a module in Anaplan is roughly the same as a workbook in Excel. So if you think of this as being one big model with a whole series of linked workbooks, then you won't go far wrong. So just to be clear, everything here has been built from scratch. This isn't a programmed by a script. There's no sort of underlying language at the back of this. It's not sort of hard-coded in C or anything. It's built by modelers, just like you would in a spreadsheet. Now the modules are grouped into functional areas: what's changed, what if, and sales rep performance. Again, these are your choices of how you group these modules. But this is just an application. So what we're going to do is start with the sales pipeline and see what's changed from last week. So what I've done is I've imported a sales forecast by deal, by customer, by rep, and I've consolidated together into a company summary. And we will look at the detail behind all this, but I'm just going to open the company summary so we can see what's changed. So this is currently the current date, let's assume, is April, mid-April. And we can see here's my forecast here for the current quarter. So overall, I'm expecting to make 7.162 million for the total company. It's color coded, so the red means it's worse than the forecast last week. The green means it's better. So I'm already looking at this central region here, and I can see a load of red numbers there. So I think something possibly is going wrong with the central region, but I need to look at that in more detail. So let's just pivot this to see the quarter 2 forecast. If I just pivot this sideways, and what we can do is have my organization down my rows, and I can just pivot it across here to begin with to show my line items or calculation across the columns. So of that 812,000, 342,000 has been won, so that's in the bag. 470, my people are telling me we're going to make that, and oh dear, there's nothing at all in the pipeline. Okay, so not only has it got worse than last time, there's nothing in the pipeline to make up the balance. Let's look at it in another view. If I just pivot this sideways again, and this time I want to see it by version. When I say version, I mean every week I'm importing a new version of this forecast. And you can see here how that color coding is derived. There's 812,000, and last week they were telling me I was going to make 1.6 million. So I'm 800,000 adrift here. What's happened? Well, I can see that some pulls here in that region, sorry, that profit center, there's about 560k gone from there. There's also a big deal must have been lost there, so there's the odd 300,000 lost from there. So between the two of them, those make most of my 800k that I'm missing from the forecast compared to last week. On the same basis, this one looks good. I've got a new deal come in, Sacramento, added $1 million plus to that the West Division. So well done, Taylor Franks in the West Division. So let's just delve into this central division a bit more deeply. So what I've got is a module called Opportunity Tracker. So what you've seen so far was showing the sales opportunities, the sales forecast by profit center. Now I've grouped it even further to say let's go right down to individual deal levels, and I can scroll down. I'm going to look at all the divisions here. There's that 812,000 number that I had before, and you can see now I've split it not just by my regions, Cincinnati, St. Paul, Cleveland, Minneapolis, but also into my individual reps and the individual deals that they're handling within the reps. So for example, John Maynor here in St. Paul's, Blue Jelly Company's obviously slipped off the radar. It's now reading 0, but I know because it's red that something's gone wrong there. There was a number in there before. Similarly, the Good Tech Incorporated, again that slipped off the radar, so I can see those are the two deals that have gone wrong. So let's just open a new view of this, and I'm going to have a look at the forecast history. So this is getting right down to the nitty-gritty of the detail again, and I'm going to scroll down to have a look at this central region again. So that's my 812,000. It's roughly half what I had before, and you can see here how it's changed compared to my previous numbers. That deal, that 300k deal, is now off the radar, as is this one, 563,000. So those are the two deals that have that I've lost. Can I rescue them? Well, let's look at the detail behind that. So if I pivot it sideways again, and we're going to have a look at opportunities and all the details against each opportunity to see whether we could renegotiate these ones. Let's just scroll down to the other one that I was looking at, and that was the Blue Jelly Company. Again, it's lost, so it looks like it's pretty final on here. And worse than that, there's nothing in the pipeline. So I've got serious problems. When I'd have to have a word with Vicky Janis of the Central Division and have a look at the data. At the same time, if I just scroll down a bit further, the Eastern Division is looking a lot better. Tony Fatiali, obviously I've got new deals coming in here. I've got plenty in the pipeline, loads of green numbers. I can see that it's improved from last year, and instead of having a zero pipeline, I've got quite a healthy one. So just to complete the picture, let's have a look at a report of the deal count. So if I open up deal count, and again it's color coded against the previous version, and I can scroll right down to the bottom to see how many deals I've got on the cards at the moment as at quarter 2, 25 deals on the table, and I can see there it's all broken down by deal and by sales rep and by region. Equally, I might want to see the dollar change against a previous version. So if I open up the dollar or pound, whatever currency you're dealing with, you can see the change in the numbers here at the end of quarter 2, and I can again see this. The difference here, this is Vicky's central region, 788k off, based on, there's my Blue Jelly Company and there's my Good Tech Incorporated. So different ways of seeing the same set of data. So we started off with a company summary, looking at the 7 million sales for the quarter, and we've gone from that right down to looking at which individual deals are on the cards compared to what was promised last week. Now the next question is, what can we do about it? Can we shift things? Can we offer discounts to move things forward? And for that I need to go to my sales forecast adjustments and do a what if analysis. So let's just open up that. If I click on the what if, you can open up everything, all the modules within that section. So it's just opening up these deals here, and this is my current set of deals, and I'm looking at again at the central region, see what I can do here. Doesn't seem to be much in the pipeline that I can move forward, but existing deals that I've got, here's one they said they're going to close. This one here, it wasn't originally saying it's closing in July, but I could say, well, what if we move that forward? We'll offer them a 10% discount and we'll move it into June. Okay, so that's my discount. That was the sales figure we've negotiated so far. Let's just see what happens if we give them 10%, providing you close by the end of June. And that's brought that down to 195,000. If I want to look at how that's affected the calculations, I can just go to the adjusted sales forecast. This is really more the workings behind the scene. So that number, that 216,000, has shifted from July into June. And that's reflected in my overall forecast. So that was my original forecast. Down here is my adjusted forecast, and you can see that I've got an extra couple of 100,000 in there based on the adjustment that I've just made. The 7.1 million is also broken down by sales 1, sales people are telling me are going to close, and there's also the sales in the pipeline of another 600,000 there. And I can work out the quota as a percentage, the achieved sales as a percentage of quota, and also coverage as a percentage of quota. So the difference between quota percent and coverage percent is that the quota percent is just the sales forecast, which is 1 plus those they're telling me they're going to close, and the coverage includes the pipeline as well. So in other words, sales 1, sales to close plus sales pipeline divided by the quota. So that's fairly healthy for April, looking a little bit flakier, pretty flaky in May and June. I'd really expect these figures to be much higher. Now this brings me neatly on to rep performance and quotas. So in order to come up with these figures, I need to have set the rep forecasts in the first place. So let me go back to the home page. I'm going to close all the tabs just by clicking on that contents page, and what that does is to close all the tabs across the top. And now I'm going to go in to look at rep profiles and rep performance. So having a look at rep profiles here, for each sales rep we need to enter an annual quota, and we can also enter optionally the start date and a leave date. Start date, probably best to set that as the date they start selling, which may be later than the time they start to join the company. But I'm still allowing a ramp up days, so this is the number of days from the start date up to where they're at full quota. So we're based on a linear ramping. It doesn't have to be that. You could have set the quota by month. Just this is a simpler way of doing it, and we'll just assume that on that day their quota is 0, but by 90 days later they'll be on a daily quota, which is up to the full amount based on this annual quota here. The contrast between the two, this person here goes on to full quota immediately simply by leaving the ramp days as 0. Let's just have a look at Sally Anderson. She was starting in March and had 2.1 million of quota. So if we look at rep performance, we've got a complete breakdown of that rep performance, the rep quota by month. Probably best to look at this graphically. If I just click on this and plot that as a bar chart, what we can do is we can see that they joined here in March and relatively low quota. There's a sort of linear ramp up here until they're at full quota in July, okay, and full quota in August, and then she happens to be planned to leave in September. So this is at full quota. In other words, there's a ramp up period, and this is all I can expect at that point because she's only there for 10 days of the month. So you can see there's quite a substantial difference in this case between what the full quota figures would be, which would be a square block like this, and how the ramp up would affect. And this is reflected in what we call the headcount equivalent, or ramp percent for quota. It's the same thing. If it's headcount equivalent to 1, that's 1 rep on full quota. If it's a half, that would mean they're either there for half the time, in other words they've only just joined midway through the month, or because of the ramp up they're only halfway through their quota. So that, because they join late and they're in the ramp up process, you've got a cumulative effect, and they're saying that this rep is only going to be at 0.09 of rep quota. So there are numerous other reports that we can produce off the back of this rep performance. Let's just have a look at a couple of those. If I open sales won by rep, here I've just got reps down here, and I've got all the sales that they've won. And obviously, having got that, I could easily do a commission type formula off the back of that. It's a function of the sales they've won, their quota, various other bonuses. You can even do allocations of regional bonus across the team. You can do all that sort of stuff down the line in the modelling, within a model, just by adding in something called commission as another module, and use this as your start point. Firepower by region, that's another report I've got here. By firepower, what I mean is this is my headcount equivalent. So if I open this up, what we can see here, this is Sally. She's on 9% of quota for that month. So if I look overall, even though I've got all these people, I'm actually only operating as if I had 12 full-time reps on full quota. So that gives you an overall company picture. And if I look at my central region, perhaps that's one of the reasons why I'm down a bit in this quarter, is I'm really operating on 3 reps, whereas this person's got 4 reps. No matter how many people I've got there, some people are ramping up and some aren't. So if I look at this one here, in the south region, even though I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people there, 4 people, not counting that new rep, I'm actually operating as if I only had 2 people full time. So that gives you one report. There are numerous others. For example, I can go in here and look at forecast deals over 100,000. Here I've just set a filter that says, take my forecast as at the 16th of April and show me all the opportunities where the sales is greater than 100,000. Okay, so that's just filtered out the rest to give me my overall sales forecast. I've also got reports such as by partner and by customer. This just gives you an alternative roll-up of my sales, some of which have come in through partners, some of which have come in through my direct sales. And a similar sort of thing I can get from the customer point of view if I just go into customer forecast summary and show you that. I've just done a consolidation of all my sales by all my customers, and I've come to the same 7.16 million that I had in the forecast. So if you've got multiple deals targeting single customers, this will give you the overall consolidation picture. So in this demo, what we've seen is how you can look at individual deals to see what's shifted. We've done what-if analysis to see what we can change to meet the target and look at reps and their quotas. You could take it further than this and use it for commission planning and integration with the company forecasts and cash flow. We've seen rep targets, what the overall sales forecast, what do we expect our partners to deliver, who is meeting quota. So if you can bear with me for just 2 more minutes, let's build a simple commissions module simply to demonstrate how easy it is to adapt this model to your own company's needs. So I'm going to start with sales rep performance. I'm just going to open 2 existing modules, and what I want to do is to set a commission based on a % of sales, but I also want to set a bonus based on if they meet quota for the quarter, they'll get an additional bonus. So I need to put in extra columns here for individuals to say what their bonus percentage and their commission percentage is. To do that, I can go into blueprint mode, which is where the model building happens. So I just click on the toggle, and I'm just going to insert a couple of extra items here. So I just do edit insert, and I'm going to put in a commission % and a bonus %. I'll just format them to be percentages, just like you would format cells in a spreadsheet. Just go in here, click on the percentage button, and that's done it. So let's set the commission at 5% for everyone. So I use the down arrow just to copy it down the column. And similarly, I'm going to set the bonus % to begin with at 10%. So this is the bonus % if they make their quarterly quota. And obviously you could then go in, having set it for everyone, I can set it for individuals. So now let's set up a commissions module. I go to the settings tab. I insert a new module. I'm going to call it commissions. I can reuse the sales reps list that I've already got, so I don't have to set them up again. And here I'm going to be putting in what we call line items, which are the calculation items, such as sales 1, quota, the commission, and the bonus. Click on OK, and that's created a new module. Now I don't want this to be by month, I actually want to set it quarterly. So if I just change the timescale here, again go into design mode, change this timescale from being months to being quarters, apply that to all my items in there, and then I just toggle back to my normal view, and you can see how it's now done it by quarter. Now I've got a page here for each of my sales reps. If I want to find a particular sales rep, I can just click on the search button and type their name in here, and it doesn't even have to be exact. As long as it's unique, it'll jump there immediately. To set up a formula, it's very much like you would in a spreadsheet. I click on the equal sign, click on the module where the data is, click on the item, and that's it. Similarly for the quota. The quota is equal to rep profiles, quota, but since it's quarterly I need to divide that by 4, and that's got my quota in there. To calculate the commission is simply equal to the sales 1 multiplied by the commission %. To calculate the bonus, if they made quota for the quarter, all I've got to do is do a conditional. So I'm saying if sales 1 is greater than or equal to the quota, then I'll give them an additional bonus of sales 1 multiplied by the bonus %. You can see I'm doing this all by point and click, otherwise they don't get anything if they don't meet quota. And let's just click on tick, and that verifies the formula. And there we got it. There's my commissions module. If I just pivot it sideways, so I'm going to have now all my sales reps down my rows, and I'm going to have all my calculation or line items across my columns. And that gets me my very basic commission plan based on quarterly commissions. And if I go back to the table of contents, you'll notice if you scroll right down to the bottom here, you've now got a commissions item. Click on that and it jumps straight to the table that you just created. So that just demonstrates how you can extend a model by building extra modules and adding to an existing application using the model building facilities of Anaplan. Thank you very much for watching.